Alright, welcome back. Today I wanted to do something a little different. We're gonna do a Kino tier list here. You're not a movie, aficionado, but I think I know a Kino when I see one. Alright, we're gonna start with Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Now, this film I actually liked. I thought the main characters were compelling. I thought the story was compelling. I thought it had good acting, good foundation. I thought the actors did a good job, but it's a type of movie that wasn't generally for me. I liked it, but I didn't think it was anything super special. That's why I'm gonna have to put it in the C. Now we're gonna go with After Hours. The thing is with After Hours, I don't know. I just feel like some characters in that movie, I felt the performances were good. There's something about that movie that makes me, again, it just wasn't something that I immediately attached myself to and kind of like engaged with. I thought it was still a good movie, but I don't know. It didn't keep me entertained. Aviator, the same thing. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Who fucking doesn't? But it just didn't keep me engaged enough to the point where I was excited to keep watching. The ending I thought was fine. I thought the movie was fine itself. It wasn't. I could have gotten more out of it, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why, again, I feel Aviator almost deserves a C. Fucking, oh my god, this atrocious fucking movie. Boxcar Bertha. This is going straight in F. This is an abomination of a film. I don't know how it's considered a Kino. I don't know who directed it, but it's just I just can't with this fucking film. It's so bad to me. I actually it's appalling to me. Let's see. Let's go. Where do we want to go next? Honestly, all right. I feel like I should talk about Boxcar Birth a little more, just so people don't get too pissed. I just think the acting's bad, the cast was bad, the story was bad. Overall, I thought it was just a lackluster film. Silence. I liked this movie. I thought it was good. This will be our first B tier. I thought the acting was good. I thought the actors were good. I thought the direction was good. Yeah, I mean, I just overall, I thought it was a solid film. Yeah. Um, all right, let's see. Where do we want to go next? I guess we could go with Bringing Out the Dead. Um, you know, I feel like it's another B movie. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was something different. I thought the acting was pretty good. I thought the characters were pretty compelling. The story again, a decent story. I nothing that was like super amazing, kind of blew me away, but something to keep me engaged. Cape Fear is gonna be our first A. I actually really like Cape Fear. I had a lot of fun watching it. Um, I would definitely watch it again. It's one of those films that I didn't think anything of it before going in, and I ended up actually really liking it, um, which is a good thing. Um, Casino. Casino is going to be another A tier. Casino is just a solid film all around. You have great performances from people like Joe Pesci, um, The other actors I thought did great things in the film. I just thought it was overall an enjoyable watch. Um, yeah, Casino gets my approval. Moving on, Cruise. Fucking The Color of Money. Let's see. I don't. Where do I want to put The Color of Money? It's not. It's not A tier to me. I like it, but it's not A tier. I think I'm gonna have to put it in B tier. As much as I did like watching The Color of Money, there's something about that film that just it doesn't meet the A requirements for me. It's still a good film. It just does not meet the A requirement for me. Again, I forget. I don't know who directed all of these films. I'm just going off of them based off like my enjoyment of them. All right, The Departed. We have reached S tier. The Departed is a great film. I've seen it a couple times. I've watched it with family. I've watched it by myself. Each time I watch it, it's enjoyable, especially being someone from the Massachusetts. It's just enjoyable to see great representations of my town, or well, I guess you could say my state, my cities. It's just a great film. Yeah, The Departed is amazing. Definitely my first S. Gangs of New York. I'm gonna have to go. This is a really tough one. This is gonna go A, but it's gonna go in the front of A because I don't think it hits the S tier, but I think it's close enough. It feels like it's missing one or two things that could make it S. I almost thought the pacing was a little weird for me in Gangs of New York. I still thought it was a great film. I just didn't think it was anywhere that deserved the S almost standard for me. Next is Goodfellas. That's an easy S. It's a classic film. Goodfellas is amazing. Joe Pesci, another great role from him. Other great performance in that movie as well. The opening scene is iconic with them in the prison cell talking about the fucking what was it, garlic, chopping it thin. Everybody knows that. Goodfellas is just a classic film. I feel all around it deserves some of the praise it gets, but the only problem that I have with the film is it's after you watch it the first time it becomes a little slow, but I still think it's a great film. All right, moving on. Hugo. This is a B for me. I think it's a great film. I'm just not a huge child actor fan. But overall, I didn't think they were bad. I didn't think the child actors were bad at all. I think they did great jobs. It's just I'm just not a huge fan of this movie. The Irishman. This is a controversial one, but it's an A. 3 hours. This movie did not deserve to be fucking 3 hours. It's a great film, but 3 hours? No. I'm sorry, but 3 hours is just too long. King of Comedy. That's an S tier. Performances were great. Story was great. Characters were great. Just a great film. All around. It deserves to be S. Especially with how I feel the story kind of progressed. It made me enjoy watching the film significantly more than a lot of the films on this list. Next up, of course, this one. Sorry if I get the pronunciation wrong. I believe this is Kung Klan. Yeah, I apologize to anybody I offended, but with the pronunciation, I thought this was a solid film. Again, I think it's C because it didn't wow me enough to be a B, but I still think it's a pretty solid tier. The Last Temptation of Christ. All right. Yeah, it's kind of boring. Not gonna lie. Kind of boring. Super long. Yeah, it's just I don't know what else to say. it's just boring and long. If you're not into that type of stuff, you're just gonna get bored as well. Um, let's see, Mean Streets. I'm gonna have to go B. I quite liked Mean Streets. I I thought it was actually a good film. I mean, I feel like it definitely. Actually, I'm gonna move it above Hugo because Hugo is like a CD for me, or a CB for me. While Mean Streets is more of a solid B. I don't think it's as good as The Color of Money, but it's still a solid B. I'm trying to remember this. Actually, we'll come back to this film because I don't remember the. They might be using a different I guess you could say well title car or title screen for the film, but yeah, I just don't remember that title screen, so we're gonna have to come back to that one. Raging Bull. This it's so tough. A tier. That's actually, yeah. Another thing, this movie is great. It's just one or two things that make it so it doesn't reach the S tier. There's just one or two things that just make it so it just doesn't boop up to that S tier. I thought the acting was great. I thought the roles were great. I thought I liked it, but I don't know. There's some things about it that just make it so I maybe all right. There's certain scenes I feel were weird in the film. I felt some actors just did awkward jobs too with certain things, and I felt that they almost. It's weird to say. I felt they almost like kind of shoot in the performance and like literally only like one or two scenes. But other than that, I still think it's a great film. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't feel like an S to me. Shutter Island. Honestly, as a kid, I fucking loved this film. Now it's a solid CD. It's so good in the beginning, but the ending just fucking ruins it, dude. Like, it's such a good film, but the ending is so brutalizes it. I just can't. I don't know why. I just can't. Like with fucking Shutter Island. The ending, the twist with the like, oh, it's all in your head. You made it up. I'm like, come, dude, fucking, it ruined it. It ruined it for me. Moving on. I don't want to talk about it. Moving on. The Age of Innocence. Yeah, that's C, but I feel like it's not as good as Aviator. I think it's still a solid film, but it just doesn't bring enough to the table, in my opinion. As a romance plot, it is not. I don't know. I just don't know. I just can't. I don't feel. Yeah, I don't feel like the film brought anything to the table that had it be like super engaging to watch. It just felt like half the scenes were filler to be there to almost coax you along through and kind of get you through the scenes and get you through this to the actual plot, and like the exposition was super fucking weird in some parts. All right, I'm just gonna move on. We'll save. All right, I'm moving on. Who's that knocking at my door? I actually really fucking like this film. Enough to put it mid B, I would say. Yeah, I thought it was a really good film. I thought it's an older film. Its age definitely shows, but even I feel like it works in its favor. That's why I put it so high. I feel like it's definitely one of those films that people don't generally talk about. Um, but I feel like I feel like I feel like it's a film that deserves a little more, almost like to have its own voice. Let me think. Is this might be the Last Waltz? If this is the Last Waltz, which I believe it is, I would say it's a little bit better than the Age of Innocence. But then again, it's still like one of those films where I'm like, actually no. Dude. Wait. I actually did really like this film though. If this is the Last Waltz, I'm gonna have to put it A. I actually quite enjoyed this film. There were some things like, all right, me personally, I hated some choices that were made, but then again, I can't knock it for being a bad film because I objectively didn't like some things. I feel overall, I feel some things that I just didn't like about the film. It was me being a little nitpicky, but overall, it deserves to be an A. It's a fantastic film. Now we're hitting. I should change this to this. Now we're hitting the classics here. These two films, The Wolf of Wall Street and Taxi Driver. Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance in my opinion. Jonah Hill, who is my favorite actor, in his best performance in my opinion. Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro in arguably his best performance, or one of his best performances in my opinion. Two films that I consider to be the cream of the crop if we're talking Kino films. Taxi Driver with its twisted story that has the climax that will literally, in my opinion, shock a lot of people who watch it who aren't expecting it. It's a film that is so gritty in its nature that it's so real when you watch it. And then The Wolf of Wall Street, which is a classic film in its own right, but just it makes you yearn for those films like it. It's so iconic in itself that it literally bounced a generational gap. I feel The Wolf of Wall Street, as much as it is overrated, it deserves to be rated at such a high level because of how good it truly is. But then again, it indeed sometimes can feel like the film is extremely overrated. But I still feel it deserves to be in my top spot because it's the film I keep going back to, and it's the film I get the most enjoyment out of. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. More content like this will be most likely coming out. I know I've been taking a hiatus. I was busy, but hopefully getting back to a normal recording schedule. I just want to thank you again. Yeah. Goodbye.